Thank you for joining me today at this Tailor-Made Life with Melissa. I'm Melissa Taylor. Welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about how I decide, based on the produce I'm getting from my garden and the CSA, what I'm going to make. So hold on tight, and here's a glimpse of the process I go through as I'm trying to decide how I'm going to preserve the product that I'm getting.
I don't know. These are so good. I may make another fermented tomato, basil, and onion. Or actually ferment. Or I've got some peppers. I may do maybe an onion, tomato, and pepper ferment. That would be kind of good. With maybe some cilantro, some dried cilantro maybe. Or I may actually have a little bit, unless it's bolted, a little bit of cilantro left outside in the garden. But it's so hot out there, it's probably already gone to flower. Now see, that's not a good tomato right there, so I'm not putting that in. Okay. So I'm looking through. If you don't have this book and you're wanting to can, you need to get this book. I'll put the link in the description, because if you are just now starting to learn how to do this, like I have been over the last year, it is awesome for water bath canning and for pressure canning, and also the recipes are amazing. Now, I have made, so at church we have what we call circles, which are small groups, and I create, a friend of mine encouraged me to create this small group where we get together and we learn how to can and preserve and do all these suburban homesteading things. So we just made, on page 16, there's a dill sandwich slices. We just made those with cucumbers. Now, what I did was I had extra brine left over, and this is a water bath canning recipe. So because it has vinegar in it, it's I think for pints it's like 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes in the water bath canner. So and all the directions are here. So if this is sounding like you've never heard it before, don't worry. You will learn as you go. Anyway. So these dill sandwich slices, this dill sandwich slice recipe for the brine is really good. Now for me, it was a little bit too sweet. So, it's 4 cups of cider, 4 cups of water, and 3/4 cup of granulated sugar. So really that's not a lot. And then there's salt, bay leaves. Anyway, but the brine is, you take 3 tablespoons of the mixed pickling spice, which I just bought. I'll show you. If you've got all the stuff to make it, that's great, but I didn't have the time with my group that night, so I just bought this. So it is the mixed pickling spice, and it has mustard seed, black peppercorns, dill seed, cardamom, ginger, coriander, allspice, chili pepper, cloves, and bay leaves. So I put 3 tablespoons of this into some cheesecloth and then tied it up and made like a tea bag for the brine. And then this is what gives the brine the flavor. And then it calls for 4 cups of cider vinegar, but I'll tell you what, right now apple cider vinegar is so expensive. It's almost double the cost of regular vinegar, or the white vinegar. So I did half and half. I did 2 cups of regular white vinegar and then 2 cups of the cider vinegar. And then 4 cups of filtered water. I have a Berkey that I use to filter my water. And then half a cup of salt and 3/4 cup of granulated sugar. So I think this is the brine I'm gonna make. Maybe. There's that. So anyway, I'm just trying to decide exactly what I'm gonna do. I don't want to do like a refrigerator pickle. If I'm gonna do something that's gonna have to go in the refrigerator, I'm actually gonna ferment it. Because I want to make sure I'm doing everything I can to support my gut health. So, sorry about that. Okay, so, and I like as little cooking prior to canning as possible. So, if I can do a cold pack or a raw pack, that's typically the recipe I'm going to go with. Okay, so I have a lot of stuff that I need to do. And quite honestly, some days are good days and some days are bad days. And today I'm tired. I'm very tired. And so I am going to make a list of what I need to do. I've got zucchini and I have summer squash. And I have green beans. And my goal is that a couple weeks ago, I just used a basic brine. We were canning cucumbers. And it was really good. It makes it shelf stable. They turned out great. I used that brine with green beans and radishes. The radishes I loved. The green beans I did not. So I know that I don't want to do green beans like that again. So I need to decide how I want to preserve the green beans. And I know that I either want to do a lacto fermented, like a dilly bean, like dill pickles, but dilly beans, or pressure can them. And I don't know if I have enough, because when you run your pressure canner, you want to make sure that you have at least three pints of whatever it is that you're pressure canning. I don't know that I have enough for that. I have sweet peppers. I have, I think, 4 small green from my garden, and 1 large red one from the CSA. And I have 4 onions from the CSA that are not, like, they're not going to last a long time. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with those. I have 6 ears of corn. That I need to decide what I'm going to do with. And what I typically do is I will cook the corn halfway and then cut it off the cob and freeze it. However, I made a fermented corn, pepper, and onion, lacto-fermented corn, and it was so good. I'm debating what I want to do. Now, I will take those cobs and I will make the corn cob syrup, because right now maple syrup is just way too expensive for my sourdough waffles. So I am going to try and it doesn't, I mean, it is sugar, which I don't do a lot of. It's a special treat every once in a while, but I'd like to have that on, to be able to can some more of that. So we've got the 6 years of corn. I need to decide what I'm going to do with the corn. To ferment or freeze. And when I freeze vegetables, if I'm doing zucchini, if I'm shredding zucchini, or if I am cutting corn off the cob and saving it, I always save it in bags, in Ziploc bags, with the amount. So for instance, I need 1.5 cups of corn for this corn casserole that my kids love. So I will freeze it in bags with 1.5 cups so that I can just pull that bag out and I've got what I need for that recipe. Same thing with the zucchini. If I'm going to make zucchini bread, I need a certain amount of zucchini, shredded zucchini, for zucchini bread. So I will freeze it with the amount in the Ziploc bag for that recipe. And I will do that for however many I can fill. So, what else do I have in there? I have an eggplant I don't know what to do with. So if anybody has a really good recipe for eggplant, share it, because I have one eggplant that's about this big. I need to figure out what to do with it. And then I've got carrots and potatoes. So what I'm going to do with that, I already know what I'm going to do with that. So in this book, there is a recipe. I need to go and get... I've never made this recipe, but it looked really good. Beef stew with vegetables. It's page 409 in the book that I have. And we just need 4 to 5 pounds of stew beef, 12 cups of cube peeled potatoes. I don't think I have that many potatoes, but whatever. 8 cups of peeled carrots. I don't think I've got that many either. So what I may do is cut this recipe in half. 3 cups of celery, 3 cups of onions, thyme, and so you can pressure can that. So I think that's going to be the way that I use the potatoes and the carrots that I have, and the onions and the celery. Okay, so that's beef stew with vegetables. That's page 409. Okay, so that's what I'll do with that. Where I'm vacillating, I don't know what to do with the summer squash. And if I make a relish with zucchini and summer squash and peppers and onions, that would take care of all of those. I just need to decide what brine I'm going to use. So I think I would just use like a basic brine like I did last time. And that would take care of most of what I need to preserve. Zucchini, summer squash, peppers, onions. That would just leave me with the corn and the green beans that I need to take care of. I think that's what I'm going to do. And the eggplant, which is just, it's only going to be, it's probably just going to go into like a layered, I'm probably just going to just try and layer it like a Parmesan eggplant casserole or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But okay, so I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to make a relish with the zucchini, summer squash, peppers, and the onions. And just like a simple brine to get all of that taken care of.